Brits is founder of Yoga Vidya. He knows how to transmit profound wisdom humorously. His special ability is to motivate yoga aspirants to practice intensely, to see a higher meaning in daily experiences, and to bring more energy and heart into everyday life. Sukhdev is the author of 10 books, among them commentaries on Yoga Sutra and Bhagavad Gita and the recently published Royal Path to Equanimity. He is quite active spreading yoga via the internet and yoga videos and podcasts in English and German. Sukhdev had spiritual experiences from childhood on. As a youngster, he was fascinated by the possibilities of the human mind and started with regular meditation as a teenager. He used to spend a few times several months in intense meditation and pranayama. In 1992, Sukhdev founded Yoga Vidya, now one of the leading yoga movements in Europe. Yoga Vidya has 4 major ashrams, nearly 100 yoga centers, and 20,000 yoga teachers. Today, he lives in Germany, in Hornbach, Maine. Get inspiration and energy from this dynamic spiritual teacher. Please welcome Sukhdev.
Sarvesham swasti bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Om Namah Shivaya, and I'm very happy to speak about global peace through a culture of peace, through healthy relationships, through open mindfulness. Or open-mindedness. We just heard more on a more bigger level, policing, and I was quite impressed by that, and I could see how thoughtful this whole policing approach is today, at least in India, at least in Madhya Pradesh, and so much can be done through this cooperative approach from a collective perspective. Now I'm going to take more the individual perspective. Not the individual just with himself, but the individual perspective with those with whom we have relationship. And there are a few concepts from Vedanta you can use and from different yoga paths and make them very practical. And from these concepts you can go open-minded, and in that way you can understand others better and you know how to relate to others better. And one concept is everybody in the depth of his heart is divine. Everybody is Atman, the self. Everybody has the same consciousness. Or if you want to have it more bhakti kind, everybody is child of God, creation of God, therefore he is good. It is of course a strong statement. So if you'd have this, it's called Advaita, non-dual. You have other philosophies which say some are good, some are bad. You have the demons and you have the good ones. And if you think you are the good ones, and they're the demons, you have to destroy the demons, then there will be peace. If you have that approach, and humanity has that tried out for a few thousands of years, then you'll have wars, wars, and wars. And to tell you the truth, I have not met one person who says, I'm the demon. I'm here to destroy the good ones. Bad things happen because people think the others are the demons, need to be destroyed, then there will be peace. So the first is, we have to keep in mind, everybody means well, but behaves in strange ways. But as Mahatma Gandhi used to say, don't hate the person, he said, hate the action. The first step would be to recognize everybody in the depth of his being is good. Everybody in the depth of his being is divine. Now, whether you can do it with everybody, I can't say. But for those with whom you are dealing in daily life, you can definitely say it. So the second I already mentioned, everybody means well, but often behaves in a strange way. So, and a way how what you can also say is, everybody behaves out of two reasons. You can say there are hundreds of reasons, but you can take the perspective from time to time, whatever somebody does is either to ask for love or to give love. And people can do it again in strange ways. So either they ask for love or they want to give love. Not necessarily to you. For example, somebody wants to become strong in the office and he bosses around and he wants to become the chief of all and pushes everybody away. Why does he do it? He wants to ask for love from his wife, maybe, from his father. Father might already be dead, physically dead. And he wants to show his love, I'm going to become strong. You wanted me to become strong. So he does it out of love for his father. Sometimes between two people, for example, husband and wife, comes strife because, for example, somebody wants to show his love by working harder so he can afford more. And the other one wants to show love saying, don't work so hard. You see, two people want to show their love and ask for love, and out of that comes conflict. Now you can reflect for a few moments about one person who you might actually be in conflict right now, and you could reflect the behavior of the other person. Might it be somehow related to wants to show love or wants to ask for love? Just a few seconds you can think about that. And you might also think about yourself. Maybe I have a special way of expressing love or asking for love, which creates conflict. Sometimes this open-mindedness helps to diffuse conflicts. A second way is, you can say everybody has interests. In German they have a special word which is called Anliegen. I have not found the proper word in English for it. It's interest, it's desire, it's something he wants to achieve. And when you talk with other people, you can ask, what do I want to achieve? And then you can think about, what does the other person want to achieve? Too often people forget this, and then they get sidetracked, and then it gets a question of principle. He didn't talk in the proper voice to me. She didn't respect me properly. But when we have a conversation, we have certain interests, and the other person has interest, and then we have together interest. And maybe we have a very open communication. We just want to learn about the other person. Or we have the interest of presenting ourselves. But sometimes we want to know, we want to achieve something. And if we want to achieve something, it's also important to know what the other person wants to achieve. Often communication goes, I want to say something and I want to achieve, and the other person unfortunately speaks. And then you think, how can finally the real important person say the real important things, that is, me. And the problem is the other person thinks that as well. So we have to be open-minded for ourselves. What is my interest? And for the other, what is his or her interest? And then hopefully, in many situations, we have a common interest. And if we have a common interest, still it's good to see what his interest is, my interest, and then common interest. Now, this is extremely important when you have you're not just two, but you're many people for one common interest. I give you a stupid example, strange example from Germany. Now here you have many vegetarians. In Germany the vegetarians are few. Maybe now you have 10% to claim flexitarians. Flexitarians means they think we should be vegetarian, but let's not see it too narrow. And you have, depending whom you believe, 3 to 5% vegetarians. Now the ashram where I come from is a small city which is called Horn Bad Meinberg, but to make it short, it's Meinberg. And we had a mayor who actually was one of these flexitarians. So in his family, always vegetarians, but he was mayor and he thought he cannot be elected if you're always a vegetarian and you put in a strange corner. So he ate a little bit there. But during his final period of where he could be mayor, he was elected again and again. He finally dared to be a complete vegetarian. And then he said, talked to a few in the city he knew who were vegetarians, that why I can support you to make a veggie day in Bad Meinberg. I'll encourage all the restaurants to have one day more vegetarian meal. In the school cafeteria will only be vegetarian. In the city government there will only be vegetarian. But I should not be the one who introduces you. You should ask for it. And so now all the vegetarians got together and they were thinking, how shall we approach? And we make a resolution and everything. Now you have to know, in Germany they're not just vegetarians. You have vegans, you have vegetarians, you have the raw foodians, you have the organic food specialists, and you have the gluten-free and so on. And now the problems came. And you have the spiritual vegetarians and you have the secular vegetarians. And among the spiritual vegetarians, you have the Yoga Vidya vegetarians and you have some Buddhist vegetarians. So now the problems arose. Some said, oh, it has to be, if it's vegetarian, then it has to be vegans. They said, if it's vegetarian, it only can be organic. And so there came these discussions. And everybody forgot the common goal. What was the common goal? Having a veggie day. And because they were quarreling about these things, and then finally one of the group thought it's enough, and then he made a plan himself and approached the city council himself, and then others said, how could you do that? And they quarreled, and in the end, city council did not vote for veggie day. We did not have a veggie day. Instead, we had a quarreling vegetarian minority. So that's the negative example which you have there. So my request would be, if you gather together for a common good, don't get into pity things, but remind yourself continuously, what is the common goal? And if possible, try to put the individual interests of others a little bit, but your own put a little bit in the background. So be open-minded to what everybody wants and try to get the common good there. And another negative example is the German yoga movement, where we do not manage to have one German yoga federation. We have this association, that association, At one point, two associations got together, let's have a common German yoga federation. We got 12 groups, and in the end it dwindled to in the end we only have 2 more. So, if we want to have a better societies, yoga people, and I hope, and I know in India you have better examples. We have the Indian Yoga Association, which somehow gets everybody together. It seems to me like that, even those who do not teach Hatha Yoga, but everybody somehow they try to get together. And of course we have the United Consciousness movement, where we also try to get everybody together. And there we have to deal with many different people, many different cultures, and we do it respectfully. Another aspect is when we are with others, not just as they have different opinions, interests, and in the end they want to achieve something good. There's the next is we're put together from karma. So I'm a believer in karma, and karma has so many different aspects, and I don't stress in karma punishment and reward, but more we are here to learn, and we get the lessons we need to learn. And whenever we deal with other people, there's a lesson in it which we can learn. There's one lesson I can learn, there's one lesson that the other can learn, and there's a lesson we both can learn. And we can be open-minded what lessons come if I deal with that person. And they're not only simple lessons. And when I'm running a big yoga institution, and when you become big, you get more problems. So the best is to stay small, I sometimes think. When you get big, then you get legal problems and then administration problems and some who leave it and so on. But you can either see it all as problems, or you can see there are lessons, karmic lessons you can learn. So the person who is nasty to you and or abuses you, you can learn something from him. There's some lesson in it. The lesson can be sometimes you have to defend yourself. I had to learn that also. When I started Yoga Vidya, I wanted to build a completely non-violent association, full of love and compassion, and we're going to find the right ways of communication, and it's just going to be heaven on earth. Now, that was 33 years ago. Now I still have that ideal, but there are lessons to be learned. And when you have to defend, you should not do it with hatred. It's a karmic lesson you have to do. And maybe in some aspect, I still remember there was one Swami I know who got a defamation campaign against him. And I admire him so much. He just said, I'm not defending myself, I keep quiet. I must have done something wrong in a previous life, and in this life I have to just learn to deal with it. So, what I want to say, if we deal with one person, we have one karma for ourselves, and the other has a karma, and we together have a karma. And if we learn the lesson, then we don't need to experience it again. Sometimes we have to learn the lessons a few times to really learn it, but we have to say there's a lesson in it, and this person is a servant for me, that I can learn this lesson. And on the other hand side, we try to be good, and we try to do the right things, and by trying to do good and trying to do the right things, we're going to hurt the other person as well. Good, well meant does not mean well done. But then we can also say the karma also works through me for the other person. So if I try to do good and create suffering for the person, of course I can I can apologize, I can say sorry, but sometimes this will not help, then to keep peace with myself, I can say, well, I was instrument in the hands of the karma of the others. And our interaction together is also karma for others. So in that way, we can continuously try to be open-minded. Be open-minded, open-hearted maybe first. Feel the divine in others. When you meet somebody, take just one moment to feel the heart of the other, to feel the divine in the other, and that's a good start. Then start with a thought, the other means well, I mean well. And then we can be open-minded, ask, what is his interest, my interest, our common interest? And then we can see how we can communicate well, have good relations, learn our lessons, and go together the path to moksha. Moksha is achieved not just with meditation, but how we deal with our relationships and with our karma. Hari Om Tat Sat. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and in peace. Om Shanti.